Hey, this message is for the Democrats of the state of Arizona. I do have some friends and allies down there, so how you all doing? So I'm here to talk about this upcoming governor's election that you have going on down there for 2026. We have a number of candidates on both sides who are running, but I can tell you right now who the presumptive nominees are. So we have, I'm sorry, let me go right here. So on the Democrat side, of course, we have incumbent governor Katie Hobbs, who's been doing a good job down there so far. We also have somebody by the name of Saint Omer Captain, whatever, who filed paperwork, and then there were some others who declined, like the Attorney General Chris Mays and the Secretary of State Adrian Fontes. So they're getting behind Hobbs, I'm pretty sure, and they're running for reelection. On the Republican side, you have three candidates who have declared. You have Karen Taylor Robson, who ran for governor in 2022. You also have a congressman by the name of David Schweikert. I think that's how you pronounce his name. And then you have Andy Biggs. Now, there's a bunch of other names who have declined and filed paperwork and what have you. Now, so far, okay, so Trump apparently endorsed both of them. He endorsed Karen and Biggs. Now, but where do they stand at on the polling? Well, Karen Taylor Robson, her average poll numbers are between 15 to 37%. And then Andy Biggs' approval numbers are, well, his poll numbers are between 40 and 50, 55%. One of them, he's at 61, 65%. So it's pretty much determined. I'm pretty sure we can all conclude that he's going to be the nominee for the governor's race. So essentially, what we have right now is Katie Hobbs versus Andy Biggs. Now, what does it look like for the general election? Some of these polls look good, actually, and then there's a couple that are not good. So as it stands right now, I think the latest poll that I had seen, or one of the latest I had seen, was Andy Biggs was at a 44%, while Katie Hobbs at 40%. But now I see this new poll that actually just came out yesterday, and it says Katie Hobbs is at 41%, Biggs is at 40%. And then the last few ones I see, according to Emerson College, this one has Hobbs at 44% and Biggs at 43%. Okay, so I'm actually a little bit surprised and relieved to see that because I have friends down there who are telling me that they're trying to get Hobbs out of office. That tells me that they must not be aware as to what she's doing. And plus, I'm not hearing any legitimate reasons why they want her out. So let me go through some of her accomplishments because I've talked about some of these in one of my videos talking about her. Now, on healthcare and medical cost relief, in March of 2024, Governor Hobbs announced an initiative called Affordable Arizona, tackling medical debt for working families to address the burden of medical bills on Arizonans. Under that program, by July of 2025, the state reported that about $429 million dollars in medical debt for roughly 352,000 Arizonans have been wiped out via a partnership with the nonprofit Undo Medical Debt using federal COVID relief slash ARPA funds. The initiative is significant from a progressive lens, tackling one of the major financial burdens on working class families, medical debt, which often intersects with healthcare affordability, savings, and economic stability. Additionally, the governor has signaled intentions to address prescription drug affordability, e.g., lowering costs, raising oversight. Now, why does this matter? Because medical debt relief can improve economic security for families, reduce financial stress, reduce financial instability, and free up income that might otherwise go to debt servicing rather than wages or essentials. For those concerned about healthcare justice, this represents an actionable state level intervention. Now, here's what she did on education. She announced and convened a governor's educator retention task force addressing teacher pay, retention, credentialing, and early career attrition. For example, in December of 2023, the task force released 11 recommendations to improve supports for teachers and mitigate losses in the profession. In April of 2025, Governor Hobbs signed HB 2765, which expands eligibility for the Arizona Teachers Academy Scholarship Program to include community college based bachelor's teacher prep students, a move to encourage more affordable teacher pathways. She also proposed increasing funding for K 12 by raising the percentage of state land trust revenue used for education from 6.9% to 8.9% over the course of 10 years. She has expressed commitment to strengthening public education, increasing teacher pay, and increasing accountability of voucher private school subsidy programs. Now, why does this matter? Teacher retention and teacher pay are key progressive priorities. Invest in public education, strengthen the workforce, reduce turnover, and improve outcomes. The scholarship expansion helps reduce financial barriers to entering the teaching profession, which aligns with goals to diversify and expand educator pipelines. Here's what she did as far as wages, workers, unions, and workforce development. The labor community endorsed Hobbs in July of 2025, citing deliverables such as job site safety, especially extreme heat protections, expanded apprenticeships, and ensuring that economic growth benefits actual workers. She celebrated Arizona creating almost 82,000 jobs in her first year, saying the state ranked fourth in job growth and tripled national average in workforce growth, with key new jobs in advanced manufacturing, construction, and other trades. Okay, see, I didn't know that at first. Her administration launched the Talent Ready AZ Workforce Initiative, including the Build It AZ Apprenticeship Initiative, Future 48 Workforce Accelerators, Ready Tech Go, aimed at connecting Arizonans, including non college and underrepresented workers, to high paying jobs in booming industries. She also helped promote tax rebates up to $750 for 750,000 working families as part of putting money back in the working families' pockets. Why this matters? For progressives, focusing on good paying jobs, apprenticeships, workforce equality, and union friendly policies are very important. Hobbs' agenda touches many of these. The endorsement of the Arizona AFL CIO is a signal of labor movement approval and alignment with working class interests. Unions and worker protections. The Arizona Education Association and other major unions endorsed Hobbs for governor, citing her commitment to working men and women and her past track record. The AFL CIO endorsement specifically praised her for showing up, listening, and delivering for workers, ensuring benefits growth benefits workers. In her State of the State address, she stressed investments in workforce development, education, childcare, and infrastructure, which often aligns with union and labor priorities. Why this matters. Supportive of labor union VAT is a core progressive metric for any governor. Her work on apprenticeships, workforce equity, and partnerships with unions is a good sign. Worker protections show responsiveness to environmental/worker hazards that disproportionately affect vulnerable populations. Let me see. Now, student debt, higher education access. While direct student debt forgiveness initiatives under her were not as prominent in the sources that were located above, there are some relevant higher ed moves. The expansion of the Arizona Teachers Academy to include community college bachelor students. Okay, so they did repeat some of that stuff there. So, summary and overall assessment. Governor Hobbs has made several meaningful moves in Arizona on healthcare cost relief, especially via medical debt erasure, workforce development and job creation geared towards working families, apprenticeships, manufacturing, and tech growth, education support, particularly through teacher recruitment, retention, and making teacher prep more affordable, and worker protections and union alignment, including endorsements and initiatives for job site safety and apprenticeships. So this is Katie Hobbs. This is her list of accomplishments so far as governor. Now, when you look at the person that she's essentially running against, Andy Biggs. Let me pull it back up because I just had it. Okay, here we go. Now, here's what Andy Biggs is about. Now, Biggs, let me go right here. He's a congressman. He's been there since 2016. He's had a little bit of other positions before. He was a state representative from 2002 to 2010, and he was a state senator from 2010 to 2016. I was able to dig up a little bit of his stuff on his record with the local spots. I haven't gotten much, but there are some things that I pulled up here that I find to be kind of interesting. So, looking at his record from 2002, from '02 to 10, let's see. He authored a House floor amendment tightening provisions in Arizona, sweeping attrition through enforcement immigration law, widely condemned by civil rights groups for encouraging racial profiling and chilling Latino communities. He co sponsored a bill that required every Arizona employer to run new hires through e Verify. Critics on the left argue that it fostered discrimination, pushed workers into the shadows, and punished small businesses. He was also a primary sponsor of the repeal of the state equalization property tax, HB 2073. Rolling back this statewide property tax was touted as relief, but liberals objected that it reduced stable K 12 funding and shifted benefits towards wealthier property owners. He's listed as the introducer. Big tax breaks for private school tuition. He introduced that. There was actually another one here that I saw that I thought was interesting. Hold on one second. That was state rep. Now let's get to state senate. I told you there wasn't much here, but so he's talking about. Okay, so he enacted a 20-week ban on abortion, but it was later struck down in federal court. Medicaid expansion. Legislature approved Governor Brewer's. I think that was that Jane Brewer expansion via the Health and Welfare BRB package. Reporting in the ensuing lawsuit showed Biggs opposed the expansion and later joined litigation to overturn the hospital assessment. Shocker. Yeah, what a shock. Now, here's how we break down his views on Medicare, Medicaid, healthcare unions, workers, wages, education, and some political candidates on healthcare. Repeal the ACA outright. Now, his issue is explicit. He says eliminate Obamacare. Eliminating Obamacare is his goal. He's introduced repeal bills and celebrated steps towards repeal. That means fewer covered people, weaker protections from pre existing conditions, and higher out of pocket cost. Now, here's something that says misleading rhetoric about subsidies. In October of 2025, he claimed people making up to $600,000 get free health care under the ACA. Local outlets checked the data and found the claim to be false. Liberals see this as demagoguery that undermines public understanding of the law. Medicaid. He opposed Arizona's Medicaid expansion and led to the lawsuit to kill its funding. He opposes Medicare for all. He criticizes single payer at hearings and in media, framing it as a rights violation slash government takeover. Liberals counter that by saying that Medicare for all would reduce costs and expand access. He voted no on the PRO Act, which is the Protecting the Right to Organize Act, the signature bill to expand collective bargaining rights, and spoke against pro union floor amendments. So collective bargaining basically means when the unions negotiate with management and you set wages and benefits for workers across an entire industry. So that's what Governor Tim Walz did in Minnesota with the nursing home workers. Governor Gavin Newsom in California did the same thing with the healthcare workers. And he opposes that, as damn near all Republicans oppose it. It's hard for me to find one Republican that actually supports that or is at least half okay with that. So again, these are things that my people of Arizona, all the Democrats out there, you have to talk to independent voters about these things and let them know. If you're for collective bargaining, you have to push Katie Hobbs into doing legislation that has just that, because Andy Biggs is not for that. He's just not going to do that if he's elected. So, and by the way, I'm going to call her office on Monday, and I'm gonna get into that in a little bit. Let's see. He tried to abolish OSHA. He reintroduced the bill to eliminate Federal Workplace Safety Agency. Progressives see that as endangering workers. He opposed raising the federal minimum wage. He cited CBO job loss estimates to reject the $15 plan and subsequent hikes. Well, here's the thing that the CBO also projects income gains for low wage workers, and that real wages have lagged. Education shrink or remove the federal role, expand vouchers, ESAs. The federal government has no rightful place in our education system. He champions school choice mechanisms that redirect public dollars to private schools. Policies the left says drain public schools and increase segregation. His views on some Democratic leaders. He says that Bernie Sanders' program is socialist slash authoritarianism. This is basically red baiting, and it dodges the substance, like universal health care, higher wages, labor rights. Um, he regularly attacks Kamala Harris, especially on immigration border, and amplifies her low approval headlines, um, which a lot of people on the other side would view as bad faith and nativist. So bottom line, his record lines up with movement conservatism, repeal the ACA, fight Medicaid expansion, block union power, resist minimum wage hikes, privatize K through 12 funding. He attacks Democratic leaders pushing social democratic policies. So this agenda shifts risk and costs onto working families while protecting employers and high income households. So that's what Andy Biggs is about. And then also, here's the other thing too. So where's it at? I just had it. Mm, he opposed net neutrality. He voted against the passing legislation to establish June 19th or Juneteenth as a federal holiday. No surprise there. Where the heck is it at? I just saw it. Oh, here we go. During the January 6th attack, Biggs and all other House members were ushered to secure location when the House chamber was cleared. A video of Biggs later surfaced in which he refused to wear a mask during the Capitol attack, a violation of House rules at the time. He subsequently voted to object to Arizona's and Pennsylvania's electoral votes that day, joining 138 other House Republicans. So you hear that, Arizona? To all you independents that voted for Joe Biden in 2020, and luckily he ended up winning that state, which was kind of a surprise because no Democrat has won that state in I don't know how long. I don't even think Obama won the state when he ran. Um, so he basically says, I don't care what they voted for. I'm objecting to that, and again, he sides with Trump with the whole big lie thing, and oh, Trump's the real winner. Biden and the Democrats cheated. I wouldn't be surprised if he said some BS about well, Nancy Pelosi tried to help him cheat or whatever, some BS, whatever, some stupid stuff. Um, let's see, where was the other one that I saw? The 2023 Speaker election. I don't care about Kevin McCarthy. I'm not in that mess. Let me see. Where was the other one I thought I saw something else that was interesting here? Let me see. Contesting the 2020 presidential election. He joined Representative Paul Gosar in a video claiming that there was widespread voter fraud in the 2020 presidential election. So, again, typical Republican, especially typical MAGA Republican. He was promoting Stop the Steal and all that other garbage. So, guys, I'm telling my Democrats of Arizona, so this is what we have going up in 2026 for your governor's race. Katie Hobbs, who has taken initiative to raise teacher pay and be supportive of the unions and clear medical debt for a lot of people, and the other guy says, "Well, we tried to stop the steal, and we're calling out Joe Biden because he cheated the election." And by the way, I oppose Medicaid expansion, and so you really have to find a way to talk to the people down there. I'm all the way here in Michigan, so I mean, I have no problem if I'm on the phone with one of you and you're talking to somebody and you're trying to convince them, guys, let me talk to them because I'm not down there physically, and we need all the help we can get. Katie Hobbs is essentially in trouble right now, but don't get too worried because we're not in too much trouble now. I don't want you to be too worried, but at the same time, don't get too comfortable because that's what an election is about. We can never be too sure, especially since 2016. Don't get too comfortable and think she's going to win and then decide to not vote for her and get complacent and then she loses. Don't also get too worried because if we get enough people out there to vote, she could win again. So that's what we have going on for the 2026 governor's race in Arizona. Katie Hobbs versus Andy Biggs. So, guys, I'm going to call Katie Hobbs' office on Monday, and I'm going to try to call her office in the morning. If not, I can probably do my best to see what I can do during the day or whatever on lunch or break at work, whatever. But just giving you that info right there. So, anybody has any questions, comments, thoughts, concerns, comment this video, call me, text me, email me, whatever. So, guys, I'm with you, and let's get ready to promote Katie Hobbs for governor of Arizona for 2026.